Reality is objective. It's what a product actually is. It's the specifications of your favorite car. It's the ingredients of your favorite skincare product. It's the experience. Perception, on the other hand, is emotional. It's the story our brains tell us about what something means. And in branding, meaning often trumps mechanics, because people don't buy what is real. They buy what they feel is real. Hi, my name is Electra Ndukwe, and in this 4th episode of the Perception Management series, I'm going to be dealing with reality versus perception, the invisible power behind every brand. Let's do this. Now, what is the difference between reality and perception? Let's start from there. Reality is tangible. It's the flavor of your favorite drink. It's the phone in your hand. It's the fabric of your favorite shirt. It can be measured. It can be tested. It can be proven. Perception, on the other hand, is invisible. It is shaped by beliefs, emotions, and even expectations. It's not tangible, but it's powerful. It's how the world experiences your reality. For example, 2 people can drink the same coffee. One person might call it bitter, while the other person calls it bold. Same coffee, same cup, different experiences. That's the power of perception. And in business, this difference in perception creates value gaps. This is why if people perceive your brand as premium, they would be willing to pay more, even if the ingredients are identical to that of the competition. Perception at work. So this is why in today's economy, perception is not decoration. It's not a suggestion. It's a strategy. One that I'm hoping that you will take seriously if you haven't already. Now, what's the psychology behind perception? Psychologically, we do not see with our eyes. We see with our minds. Every perception we form is filtered through 4 invisible lenses. The first lens, emotion. We respond to how something feels before we even figure out what it actually is. And this is why emotional resonance is more powerful than logic. Every sales instructor, every persuasion class will teach you that you have to strive to connect first emotionally before you start pushing logic. This is why. The second invisible lens is memory. Our past experiences often dictate our future or present expectations. Think about it. If you've had a not so positive experience with a brand, you would often tend to approach them or even other brands with a certain amount of skepticism, because somewhere at the back of your mind, you're expecting a similar experience to what you had before. And if you've ever been delighted by a brand, you'll find that your brain automatically builds loyalty towards that brand. That's perception at work. The third invisible lens is culture. Culture is the lens of meaning, right? Culture tells us how we should feel about something, how we should see something, how we should interpret something. Culture tells us what success looks like, what luxury feels like, what respect sounds like. And it's a powerful lens that helps to form perception. The 4th invisible lens is expectation. We often see what we expect to see. When Apple launches a new product, we generally don't question it. For those of you who are Apple heads, you generally don't question it. You just anticipate it because they've built a brand around innovation and, excellence. Even that expectation, it's perception capital. It is the compound interest of consistent storytelling. So perception isn't random. It's a carefully and intentionally constructed psychological ecosystem. This is why when Apple says think different or Dangote says building the nation, we don't just hear slogans. The average person would not just hear slogans, right? We tend to internalize some of the values that these brands are trying to push on us. We attach our identities to it in one way, shape, or form, and then we tend to project the beliefs that were formed around these values and these identities that we've built, right? For instance, Apple's message appeals to the human desire for innovation and individuality. We find it at play. We find, the Apple gang and the Android gang at war with themselves about who's more classier and who's more woke and who's more whatever. But you get what I mean. Dangote's message speaks to collective pride, progress and purpose. Both anchor their brands in psychological truth. Apple sells empowerment through creativity. Every powerful brand story activates an identity. It says, this is who I am when I'm using this product. Or this is who I am because I use this product. And this is why people wear Nike. Not because they are they are fantastic shoes, but you get the point. But because of the statements, because of what it says about you as an individual wearing Nike, because they've built a brand story that compels you to form certain values and certain identities, attach certain identities to their product. This is because perception transforms products into symbols and then symbols into status. So, how do you shape perception intentionally? Now, this is where perception becomes an art form. You can't control what people think. But what you can do, however, is influence what they see, how they feel, and even what they believe. You do this through one, design. You become intentional about the fonts, the logos, the images. You become intentional about the specific emotions you want to trigger using these objects. The second is language. You craft meaning with deliberate, intentional storytelling and through tone. Every tagline should reflect your brand's personality and purpose, which of course you must have already predetermined, right? The third way is through experience. You deliver consistency. Trust grows when reality aligns with the brand promise. You don't say one thing and do another thing, right? You show up consistently and with integrity. The fourth way to build perception is through visibility. Repetition builds familiarity, and familiarity builds trust. We see you often enough, we begin to get familiar with you, and then we begin to trust you. And this extends to products as well. Perception is built through repetition. It gets reinforced through emotions, and then it gets solidified through experience. So when people think of your brand, the emotion must come first before the information. This is key. In conclusion, reality is what you make. Perception is what they take away. And in a world overloaded with noise, the power isn't necessarily in what you sell, but in what you represent. Because the strongest brands don't just market products, they mirror human identity. They make us feel seen. So the question for you today isn't, what does my brand do? Nah. It is, what does my brand mean? Emotionally, culturally, psychologically, to the people it serves. That is the difference between a brand that just exists and a brand that endures. If this resonated with you, subscribe to the Perception Masterclass, where we decode the psychology of influence, reputation, perception, one episode at a time. See you in my next video.